Had your coffee this morning and hopefully stay hydrated. My name is Frank Principe. I'm the elected supervisor representing Woodbridge and this district on the Prince William Board of County Supervisors. And today is an opportunity to showcase our outdoor recreational areas here in eastern Prince William. Thank you all for coming. I think we're going to put about 30 people on the water today, and then a couple others are going to join us at Ripon Lodge, the last stop in this process. Just a couple of announcements before we get started. Please help yourself to the water, the bug repellent, and the sunblock before you get in the boat, and we'll have a safe trip out. We've got 3 total stops today, as it was explained in the invitation. Our first stop will be the Julie Metz Wetlands, just up the road a piece here, up the water. Then we're going to come out and go around to the Featherstone National Wildlife Refuge. Many of you may not have realized we have 1,000 acres of wildlife refuge here in eastern Prince William between two refuges, Featherstone, which we're going to today, and a little further north up the river, Occoquan National Wildlife Refuge. And then we're going to come back here. We're all going to get back into our cars and take about a 2-minute drive back up the road here over to Ripon Lodge, which is one of our oldest homes in Prince William County. There'll be a tour there with lunch, and I suspect that we'll be all ready to go home, I'm sure, around 2:30 this afternoon. I just want to take an opportunity to introduce to you 2 or 3 of the 4 narrators. This is a narrated tour because we're going to not only enjoy ourselves and have fun, but we're also going to get educated and informed about the outdoors here. We have a couple with us and then one joining at Ripon.
This project was within the service area of the bank. Before that, there was banks that were developed that were specifically only for their projects. So this is, the first of its kind, which was more entrepreneurial in that aspect.
What was here before they built it?
It was just woods.
It was a riparian forest.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So you build a wetland and preserve it?
Correct. Yep. We did, during that 3-year approval process, we took 3 years of groundwater data with wells. And that helped us figure out, what the groundwater levels were doing, so we could build the bank appropriately for the hydrology. And we also looked at benchmark wetlands in the nearby vicinity and took data on them to figure out, what would be the best design to make this successful. My company, Wetland Studies and Solutions. Wetland Studies and Solutions.
How long do you have to monitor after it's built?
It's typically 10 years. So they require monitoring years 1, 2, and 3, years 5, year 7, and year 10. And if it's successful through those years, you technically should be released from future monitoring after that. If there's issues with the plants not being wet enough, or you're having hydrology that's not there, it's more of an upwind, they're gonna make you fix it and do additional years of monitoring. But this one was successful every year through very wet conditions and very dry conditions, and it got approved by the DEQ and released for monitoring for the bank per the monitoring requirements. So there oftentimes can be involved a fair amount of maintenance in the first 1 to 5 years.
Further up the creek there is a lot of reeds with feathery tops growing. I've noticed over the last several years that the patch of them is growing substantially. Is that something invasive that we should be worried about?
It sounds like it might be Phragmites.
I'm thinking it's Phragmites, but is that a good one or a bad Phragmites?
I mean, it is invasive, and they will create monotypic stands, which is not as valuable for wildlife. I guess
And it is so
depends on how you look
invasive.
at it, because they still have benefits for water quality, but from a wildlife perspective, they're not very valuable.
But it certainly chokes out some of the other vegetation.
Yes, it'll make it less diverse.
I was just concerned because I saw it go as a very small clump, and now it's got quite large over several years. And I've been watching that.
have 17 miles of it here in Prince William County, 14 miles of it in Frank's Woodbridge District. The Featherstone National Wildlife Refuge is on the Potomac Heritage Scenic Trail. It's going to be a little bit hard to orient because I had to make it so small. But up here is Veterans Park, and if you follow the red line, this green square is Featherstone. It's going to come in, once we get this grant, we got a flap grant, $520,000, right? The county has to designate the matching funds, and that vote is on Tuesday, right? And then we will be able to, theoretically, gain access to that $520,000, and then build the bridges and the trail to bring pedestrians in the north side. So you'll be able to walk out of Veterans Park into the north side of Featherstone National Wildlife Refuge, right down here, and then you'll pop out of the woods at the Ripon BRE station, go up a staircase, and go over the tracks of the train bridge.
That are connected. You might be stopping to go to the train in a minute.
Yeah.
But this refuge is actually part of a connected series of natural areas. Right down there you can see Pennsylvania State Park, the peninsula. Right behind me across is the bluffs that make
Massive 3,000 acre tobacco plantation run by the Lee family. Life Horse Harry Lee was born and raised there. And then you've got this creek. To the west of the creek, you have Taylor Iron Works, which is a significant industrial complex for this area, or for actually the East Coast. Iron ore was shipped in and smelted and then brought back out for armaments and for manufacturing. So you have this massive area of commerce within the creek. And as you see, I guess you drove through, or you paddled through Metz, so you saw that it's pretty shallow. It wasn't shallow like that in the 1700s. That's a later development. So to come back to Ripon Lodge, the builder Blackburn, his son Thomas Blackburn was in the Revolutionary War with George Washington. His daughter married Bushrod Washington here in the front room of the house, and then moved to Mount Vernon. So the Blackburns and the Washingtons had a very tight-knit families. I'll talk a little bit about the grounds. We own 400 acres, but it was thousands of acre farm. We can't tell. The records say everything from 13,000, which would be all of Woodbridge and more, to probably 500. But it was somewhere in the 1,000 to 2,000 range. He didn't grow tobacco, at least not for export. He grew stuff for the area: wheat, corn, real crops.